Hi, everybody. Hi. I missed you last week. Let me know who's here in the chat. We have a great guest coming on today. I'm so excited, and she'll be on early, so we'll have time to catch up afterward. Hi, Thomas. Hi, everyone. Oh, I see lots of you. Hi, Serafina. Hi, Anita. Awesome. Hi, Kiara. How are you? Hi, Brandy. So if you're new, let us know where you're zooming in from so that we can see where we are. Hi, Kelly. Hi, Paris from New Jersey. Hi, Diana. Hi, Sarah. Hi, Sylvia. Hi, Cam. Hi, Dore. How are you? And Sausalito, you lucky human. Hi, Heather in Virginia. Hi, Lanita. Hi, Vicki in Maryland. Hi, Ronit in Marin County. Oh my God, who's in Scranton? My daughter's gonna freak out, Karen. The Office is her favorite show in the whole wide world. Hi, Dr. Jennifer in Indiana. Oh, hi, Lindsay in Lompoc. Cool, I grew up there. My parents live in Lompoc. Hi, Karen. Oh, Karen got her first shot today and is super emotional. I was too, for sure. Hi, Sheila. Hi, Dawn in Connecticut. Hi, Tiffany in Cleveland Heights, Ohio. Oh, Micah or Mika is new, zooming in from Orange County. Welcome. Heather's mom won the teas in the Mother's Day giveaway. Blessings, absolutely. Hi, Tina in New Jersey. Oh, Heather's looked forward to this all day. Hi, Maureen in New York. Oh, hi, you guys. Hi, Jacqueline. Hi, Mary. Hi, Cynthia's new from East Bay, California. Sarah's in mid-Missouri, not far from the capital. I went to college in Nevada, Missouri. Hi, Jane. Hello. Hi, Kelly. We had a great day. Hi, April. Michelle in Virginia. Julie in Fayetteville, Texas. Gail in East Falmouth, Massachusetts. Teresa from New York. Wendy in Kansas City. I love Kansas City. Hi, Gwen in Florida. Oh, you love the beautiful smelling incense this month's box. I know the emerald incense is really amazing. And we have so many subscribers now that we had to order that almost 6 months ago for them to make enough. They make it in Japan and it's all natural botanicals. Oh, Thomas, Michaela's saying she can only get in as a participant. So can you help her please with that? Hold on. Check email. I'll have her check her email and maybe you can resend that to her. Sorry, everyone. Hi, Mary in New Jersey. It's your first. Aw, welcome. Hi, Sherry in Florida. Hi, Angie. Hi, Michelle in Seattle. Hi, Cynthia in Georgia. Hi, Mary in Punta Gorda, Florida. April's drinking Green Goddess in Chandler, Arizona. Catherine's in Laurel Canyon, beautiful. Betsy's in Sarasota, Florida. Yeah, Michaela's going to be here. She's just trying to get on. She got, I guess, the wrong link sent to her, so we'll get that fixed right away. Oh, Stacy is saying she's from Waddle, Arizona, and a magic hour virgin, not for long. Loving our teas. Thank you. Oh, thank you. Vicki in Pennsylvania, Shura in San Diego. Wow, we have a great turnout tonight. Thank you so much. Hi, Ashley in Brooklyn, loving tea on Mondays with this community. So beautiful. Sean is in Houston. Maureen is new here. Hi, Maureen Milligan. So nice to see you. Terry in Wheat Country in Washington State. Oh, good. Sarah Robinson placed her first order last night for the Crown Chakra gift box and can't wait. First sips of quintessence for Cheryl. Yummy. It's divine. Yay. Vicki and wow. So there's so many. I'm so glad you guys are all here. So as we wait for our guests to arrive, I wanted to re-accentuate and let you all know and remind you the mission behind Magic Hour is, let's see, Michaela. Let's see, can I promote to panelist? Okay, my love, I'm promoting you to panelist. Oh, there she is. I'm unmuting you. Hi, Queen, how are you? It's so good to see you. I was just about to talk about the mission behind the Magic Hour Tea Circle.
Hey.
I'll bring you in on that, and then we will get started on our awesome chat. I love your backdrop. It's so rich and jungly and magnificent, like you. Okay, so the mission and the purpose behind the Magic Hour Tea Circle is to connect the world through tea ceremony. We are here to create a sisterhood of connection and a sisterhood of safety and a place for us to drink tea, share and bear our souls, and to have really a safe place to express ourselves. I started Magic Hour after I got fired from my last tea company by a group of New York investors. Not that New York's bad or investors are bad, but it was a wake-up call, and it really woke me up to the mission behind my life, and that is to build community. And the thing I missed most when I was jolted out of Zhena's Gypsy Tea was the connection I had with my tea drinkers and my friends and the people who I had bonded with. And this last week, we celebrated, my husband and I, our 15th wedding anniversary. Some of that thanks to Michaela here. And we received some notes from our tea growers in Sri Lanka, where we had our wedding. And they had a feast for the children in our honor. And they posted a bunch of pictures of this feast. And we were married in our tea estate, and our tea workers threw our wedding. So we had a big connection to our tea workers. So that is just a picture of our wedding. If you guys haven't seen those, and our tea workers still celebrate our anniversary every year. Look at all those beautiful faces. And so the mission behind Magic Hour is not only to connect you all through tea ceremony, but it's to connect you to our growers, who are very sacred and incredible human beings who are the artisans of their craft, which is making the world's finest biodynamic teas. So with that, I will introduce our Michaela Bohm, who is this month's box teacher. She is here also in Ojai, California. And she is the host of our Love and Intimacy box, which was from, I think, 2 years ago. And now she is the host of the Happy Heart box. And I'm about to steep myself some of this. And so welcome, Michaela.
Hello, and hello, everyone. I see some familiar names on here and lots of people I don't know.
Yeah, so everybody's calling in from all over. And really what I wanted to kick off this month in conversation with you about is just the power of the heart, the power of the heart chakra, not only to relate, but to really understand our own heart intelligence and our own emotional intelligence through the heart. And this last week we didn't have the Mystic Monday, so this is the first one of the month. So I thought we could talk a little bit about your background and how you came to know and have so much wisdom on basically the sensory experience, really, of the emotions and the heart.
Okay, that's a big set of questions right there.
I know, but we have a little time.
I'm already good to go.
Yeah. So as you introduce yourself, I'm gonna steep my tea, and then I'll do the little ceremony that we do. So just, you can talk a little bit about your background and your lineage and all of that.
Yes. So for those of you who don't know me, other than my name is Michaela, of course, I have a very varied background that spans everything from classical Jungian psychology, trauma therapy, working with addiction specifically, and trauma within addiction, all the way to being the lineage holder of a tantric women's tradition, and a lot of different things in between. And I spend most of my time, when it's not a pandemic, traveling all around the world, teaching workshops these days, mostly in Australia, Europe, the UK, and the US, sometimes Canada. And the topics of my work these days spans everything from women's empowerment, and particularly women's embodiment, and how that empowers us, to working with couples and working with individuals on relationship and sexuality. And so my claim to fame, so to speak, is that I've done well over probably 35,000 client hours. Last time we counted them was 6 years ago. So, and so within that, I've worked very, very extensively with couples, individuals, and of course, in my body of work that has to do with my lineage, with women in specific, on where embodiment, relationship, and sexuality meet. And of course, we could also say that where embodiment, sexuality, and relationship meet is in the heart.
Yeah.
Because the heart really is kind of the fulcrum or the portal into all of those domains. The heart is a very fundamental and deeply rooted part of embodiment, both, of course, actually by the heart making our body work, but also esoterically speaking, it is what guides us towards why we are doing things, which is, of course, extremely important in all domains. And then, of course, the heart is what humanizes others to us, and how we humanize ourselves to us as living, breathing, beating hearts. And that's very, very important, particularly when we get into sex and relationship, where we can really commodify ourselves and each other. So that's my quick and dirty answer.
Wow, there's so much in there I want to dig into. I'm actually going to just get started on asking you questions because my curiosity is piqued, and this always happens no matter how often I speak to you. But I just want to open the tea circle. Everybody, grab your glass and hold it to your heart, and take one heart breath, and expand that green energy of your heart into the green, into the cup, and expand that beautiful, delicious energy, and exhale. And with the second heart breath, see if you can expand the green heart energy into the room and all around, and exhale. And with the third heart breath, see if you can fill the space, your apartment, your house. See if you can touch the sun or the moon, whatever is in the sky. Fill the neighborhood, that beautiful heart energy, and exhale. And we're just going to do a short one today because I want to get into it with Michaela, but the circle is open. May it serve you. I'm drinking Happy Heart, which is current addiction. I swear I'm my target market for these blends. So something you said is the heart is the portal for moving into sexuality and relationship. And then you talked also, you said something too about how we can commodify ourselves. Let's talk a little bit about retuning into the heart in relationship, because, I've been through a lot. I just had my 15th anniversary. It was hard won, 17 years together. And Jordan and I had really gotten to the point where we were like minutia managers in our relationship. There was a lot of minutia happening and it was very neck up. And so moving back into the heart was a really vulnerable and intense practice and thing that we had to do. It took us a little while and we're still working on it. But can you talk a little bit about what it is to be in the heart when it comes to intimacy versus, and how to tune back into that? Because I think sometimes it can be subtle and we slip out of it and we get more and more and more intellectual and heady and talking about, management issues versus emotional and intimacy. So can you talk a little bit about how that happens? How we can
I can. And I also want to start by something a bit further out, because of course, this is your Chakra tea series.
Yes.
And so we're essentially drinking to the heart chakra in this month and in this box, and look at the beautiful label. So when we look at relationship, both with ourselves and with another, what we're looking at in the chakra system is you have a lower triangle, and then you have the upper triangle, right? And right there in the middle, like in the hourglass, is the heart. And so the lower three chakras are essentially the chakras that have to do with the things we need, our root, our creativity, our power. And then our upper three chakras have to do with the kind of finer realms, the expression, the clear vision and the ascension, so to speak. And so from a chakra system perspective, as well as from a very practical perspective, when there's too much of one of those triangles present, we become unbalanced. So too much of the lower chakras, activated and unpolished or uncultivated. There's, too much food, too much drugs, too much sex, sex or porn or things like that, right? There's greed, want, need, all of those kind of things can happen. Money worries, minutia in the physical realm, that can happen down here, so to speak. And then up here, of course, within that, there is the being a little bit too ungrounded, flighty, not really connected with the real world, or heady thinking, idealistic ideas, like you were saying, minutia, kind of the vision that's not grounded in the body, so to speak. And so the heart, in the chakra system as well as in relationship, is the guiding light that puts both of those triangles into a essentially into a focus or into a trajectory. And so in relationship, one of the things that can often happen is we forget that we got together because there's love, right? And what is love? It's all different kinds of love. It's romantic love, of course, but it's also friendship. And it's also kind of a godly love, in the sense that there is the divine infiltrates a relationship if we let it, of course, right? And then there's, of course, the love for your children and your family, and the love for the environment and the earth, and all of those things. They arise and then they go up and down and out in all directions if we let it. But often we learn how to do sex and money and power without the heart. Right? We're very devoid of those things often when it comes to, those things. And we can also get so into the finer realms of things and the heady realms of things that we forget that it always has to serve the people we're with. And so when you were talking about you the both of you having to kind of come back to the heart, it's really, really important to never lose that humanizing element of I'm a beating heart, you are beating heart, together we can make love, and make love not only sexually, but make love as in potentiate our heart energy for something much greater.
Yeah, beautiful. It's also, the heart is a synthesizer. Like, it synthesizes information in it. Like, if I think about information coming in, I can get in that heady space. But when I put it through, almost like I'll put it through my heart and go, okay, how does my heart feel around this? Then that's when things come to life.
Yeah.
And so, Michaela, with all the study you've done around Tantra, can you describe what it is, the Tantra lineage that you work with? Because you and I have talked about this a lot. And when I was your publisher, we talked about it too, where Tantra has gotten, people have hijacked the name and made it about sex or made it about certain things. And Tantra really is about being in the sensory space of the body as a divine instrument, really. And so can you talk a little bit about what your lineage is, and how people can kind of put a little bit more of that feeling into their day-to-day lives?
Yeah. Well, my teacher was very, very adamant that the sacred had to be able to be found in the profane, in the ordinary, and that ordinary activity and householder activity can be as, not only as fulfilling, but as expanded as being on retreat in a monastery, so to speak. And so my lineage is given from woman to woman, and it's specifically a householder tradition. So within the lineage of a householder, there's other things that are important, of course, than when you are in a cave and somebody brings you food twice a week or something like that, and you have no distractions. It is an entire system, and that is what Tantra in general is, an entire system that allows us to essentially live an incredibly full life with an orientation towards the divine, with all the things that happen when you have a life, right? And that means relationship, sex, children, having to prepare food, having to clean a house, all of those kind of things. And so I teach, and I was taught the everyday rituals. And of all those everyday rituals, one of the most rich and enriching ones is, of course, tea, because it's something that serves so many purposes at once. And so in my lineage, it's not that it's devoid of sex, by all means it's not, but everything is the sensual aliveness that comes with living. And then that sensual aliveness allows the entire body to come online for whatever you want to do with that. Creating, relating, raising children, kicking ass and taking names later in business, all of that can come via the body and via the five senses. So the access in my tradition to all things is essentially the awareness of the five senses, and really listening to the body, and being able to pick and perceive and enliven all senses with your entire environment, even a busy airport.
Yeah, well, you have surrounded yourself with color, and with, you have a beautiful new home after you lost your home in the Thomas fire. You're very intentional, and I've always marveled at your use of color and fabric and texture. And so, can you give our viewers a couple, just daily things they can do to bring themselves into that sacred, sensory space?
Mm. Well, tea, of course, is one of the perfect ways,
Of course.
and that's how I do it every single day. Tea, of course, is a perfect space to engage with all five senses.
Yeah.
So I'll give a few suggestions on all of those, of course, and then we'll bring the heart into it as well. So the first sense, of course, is always vision, because we are visually oriented as human beings, right? That's our main sense. So how we enliven ourselves with vision would be to choose a beautiful cup, to choose some flowers. I just got amazing flowers from a woman here in Ojai, who sit on my
ranunculus. Oh, so
right.
beautiful.
So even if you just pick one flower and you have a cup you like, and you have a candle perhaps, or anything that creates visual beauty. And of course, when we talk about the heart specifically, that's also a moment to have either a visual representation or something that reminds you of someone you love, or a few people you love, or a place you love, so that in your visual space, the heart comes alive through visual, right? So that would be the first. You create a beautiful environment, which can be super simple. The next one, of course, is touch. So you're steeping your tea, let's say, and then you touch. And before you do anything else, you touch the cup. And if you are like me, you have a million different cups with different textures and things like that. But you can touch the objects that you've surrounded yourself with. And you can also feel the heat on your palms and your palms on the cup. And that's the second sensory engagement, is touch, right? There's a lot to be had with touch when you really put your attention on it. Then, of course, comes scent. And that's a very easy one, of course. You inhale your tea. And that's a very interesting thing. You can experiment with closing your eyes and inhaling with your eyes closed, or opening your eyes and actually adding the visual element of looking at your tea. And you'll notice when you get sensitive, fine differences in eyes closed and eyes open. And then if you get sensitive, which is the whole idea, because of course, the more sensitivity we can, pleasurable sensitivity we can bring on, the more that translates into our relational and sexual life. So you can then smell your tea, smell your tea, smell your tea, till your body really wants to take a sip. Right? And allow that smell to kind of go into your body before you actually drink. Then, of course, comes taste, right? And taste then is the actual taking of a sip. And then, of course, you can taste tea like you can taste wine, right? You can roll it over your tongue. You can swish it around in your mouth. You can slurp it. There's all different ways you can play with tea. And all the while that's going on, you can listen, because that's the last one. So you can listen to the sound your cup makes when you set it down. You can listen to how water pours into the cup. You can, of course, put some music on, or have some singing bowls playing in the background, or listen to a wind chime, or, dogs barking or children playing, depending on your personal preferences. Very few people enjoy dogs barking, I would think. I do. Because the voices of my loved ones, so to speak. So there is your audio, right? There is your hearing. And with that, you've covered all 5 senses. And that, of course, that same recipe, so to speak, can be applied to food, can be applied in many, many different ways, where we train ourselves to come alive in a sensory realm. And there's many benefits, but there's 2 specifically when we talk about the heart. One is that we become more sensitive to the messages of our heart, because the more sensitive we become to each sense, the more each sense gets informed by our heart. What do we like? What don't we like? Where do we have strong affinity? Where do we have a pullback for whatever reason, right? Where do we want to put our love? Where do we want to set a boundary? All of that comes from actually being able to hear the messages our body and our heart send. And then the second aspect, of course, is that when your body is essentially alive, you can relate better, because in order to feel another body and touch another body or connect with another body, doesn't necessarily need to be in sexual relationship, could just be with a friend or a child. We have to feel their bodies via our own bodies. So if we're aware and alive in our own bodies and not numbed out by too much heady stuff, we can actually feel others better, and that increases the connection.
I love that. I love the exercise you shared also in this month's box, which was, I've been practicing it since you taught it to us, and it's really beautiful. And it has a little bit to do with movement, from moving from the heart. I want to ask if there's any questions for Michaela, anything around the heart or relationship, not necessarily relationship advice, but ways for you to enjoy relationship more. One thing that Michaela taught me in a workshop was where the differences in touch, the nuances in touch, and touching someone from a place of healing or a place of wanting to, stimulate them, or from a place of just simply, touching them to connect. And I love just the subtlety of that. Debbie's asking, how can I move on from bitterness and resentment in my heart toward other people?
Yes.
That's a big one, Debbie.
That's a big one, but actually fairly recently I made a little list for a show I was on, and that entire show was about heartbreak. And in that show, there was, I was asked, well, how do you move on? And the answer is always to first acknowledge it fully. right? So step number one is always acknowledge this fully. You have to be able to say, this sucks. I have hateful thoughts. I am bitter. I am betrayed. I want to exact revenge, right? So you have to essentially allow yourself to really feel it and own it, so you don't bypass when you move on, right? Then, of course, a very important one, I'm not going to give them in the exact order, but a very important one is having support. And having support is crucial in a moment of betrayal or heartache, is that you have a few people you can trust and who can also essentially care and nourish you while you are hurting. Right? That's very, very, very important. And that might include having somebody on your team who, is a massage person, or who is a good hugger, or a body worker. Having someone on your team who maybe is a psychologist or a counselor, or someone who actually gives you an outside view and says, well, yes, you were betrayed. This is really not good. Or what's your part in it, right? And how do you rectify your part? Or, well, you're overreacting based on your childhood, or you're not overreacting based on your childhood, but it's a recurring pattern. So there's definitely the aspect of getting help within your team, but you also just need a friend with whom you can have a cup of tea and a pint of Haagen-Dazs, or whatever is your poison in a moment of heartbreak, right?
Yeah,
And
I love the idea of the support team.
yes, and so you do need a support team, right?
Wow.
And your support team, because somebody says when your support friend betrays you with the person who first betrayed you, yes, that would suck. And then I hope you have more than one person, because that, of course, can happen, that people start taking sides, particularly in very toxic situations. That's why it's also always good to have somebody you pay, because when somebody is paid to support you, like a counselor, you can rely on that person not taking sides or going over to the dark side or things like that. And then there's two very important things. One is, and this is super, super important, this is amongst the most powerful things, and that is finish any unfinished communication. And so it's not always possible to communicate to the offender or betrayer or heartbreaker, but you can finish it in other ways, by writing letters, and by, maybe letting it all out in an organized way. Letter writing is very good for that, but you could also video it, or a stream of conscience. But it's actually better to put it on an external medium, so it leaves your head.
Yeah.
So finishing anything that is an unfinished situation by in some way getting it out. And then the last one is doing a ritual to cut off, like really doing something that might be having to forgive, it might be having to cut things off, it might be burning something, or burying something, or making a new declaration, or getting a haircut, or like there's all different ways that we already do that, but to really formally do that and say, okay, now I am drawing a line in the sand.
Yeah.
But that's the last step, and that still means you have to do all the other stuff up front.
Yeah. That's a really good, a good thing that, the subconscious doesn't really understand words or reasoning, but the rituals and the symbols. So you talked a little bit about, with like in the heart chakra, the balancing between the upper chakras and the lower chakras, and how they meet here, and this is what humanizes us. How do we know when our heart is being guarded? Is there a physical manifestation of that? Do we snap at our lever, or do we, how do we know when our heart's guarded, and what's a way that we can open our heart and keep our hearts open as we move through this game of life?
Well, the first thing that we have to say, of course, is that the heart has an intelligence in itself. And so we also have to trust that when the heart closes, there's a wisdom behind it. So it's not automatically good to be completely open and unguarded in all situations, because that could cause some actual injury, right? So a good balanced heart chakra can make a distinction between when it is okay to open your heart and when it is not okay to open your heart, and to what extent, right? It's almost like a lens where when the trust has been established and the relaxation is there and the safety is there, the heart can open all the way. But when that's not the case, the heart can also close and protect itself. And the heart can also lovingly set a boundary. And so when we feel guarded, we often, it almost feels like, um, kind of right, like a turning away or closing off and a hardening. And it is often said that this, the heart has a horizontal plane. I talk about this a lot. The horizontal plane of the heart being this area here, and then out through the arms and into the palms, and then of course the ring finger where we carry our wedding or engagement rings, for those of us who do that, right, is the direct line to the heart, the direct meridian to the heart. So this area can get really, really, really tight and closed and hunched and protected. And that's something to notice, and then you can work with that, and you can physically open that, and you can physically bring energy to your body, all the while though honing your distinctions, so you are not just like willy-nilly, and only a fool or an idiot just goes on and does the same thing when there was massive injury. So that's not to say that we shouldn't all love, and love isn't the greatest thing, but we're still in the real world, and sometimes you can't open yourself till you have established safety. Okay. So when you're with an established partner and you're starting to feel that thing, then it's really good to do some of that bodily heart opening practice and remember why you're with them, right? And not get bogged down in the minutia. And then one easy way to open your heart towards an established trust established partner is to give, is generosity, is offering, is actually giving the gift of your heart as a means of opening both of you. And that's really only appropriate, of course, when it's an okay relationship, right? And not a martyrdom.
Absolutely. Thank you. Cam is asking, how can we reopen, share any dating tips for someone who's been single for a while? Just real quick, and then we have another one.
Wow. Here's the thing. Dating and relationship, of course, is a skill, right? There is, of course, a magic factor to it and everything else, but it's mostly a skill. And if you haven't dated in a while, and also probably things have changed since you've last dated within yourself, and you might not know yourself as that relational sexual creature, the best thing to do is waste the first 20 men or women, whatever you are dating. And what I mean by that is go on dates that you don't have to take anywhere, and practice. And this is super, super important, because people start dating and they want to hope that the first person they meet is the one. But you don't even know who you are, and you don't know what's out there, and you don't know yourself relative to the people out there. So the best way to go is in a safe and very organized fashion, go on, 10, 20 tea dates or coffee dates, sometimes in the afternoon. Now we're still in COVID, so maybe it's a Zoom date, which makes it even safer, right? Where you are simply getting to feel who you are now in the dating world, and where you get to feel what your particular, doesn't matter if you're dating men or women, but your particular demographics is actually like, and where you hone distinctions, and where you don't take it any further and you don't expect it to go any further than that one meeting.
Great, great advice. Yeah, I never knew how to date. I was perpetually engaged when I go on a date because I'm just like, oh, he's the one. My mom's like, please, Mia or Zena. It's like, that's hilarious. That's great advice, Michaela. So is there something wrong with our heart chakra if it opens to the wrong, if we open it to the wrong people? So is there, I think that's that learning your boundaries, learning your preferences, right? I think it's not wrong. You just haven't learned yet, right?
No, well, here's the thing to be said about the heart, right? There's nothing wrong ever with loving. There's nothing wrong ever with love. And love takes all kinds of forms, and love is the driving force, in the universe, so to speak. So your heart isn't wrong, but your radar and your distinctions and the way you were imprinted from how love was given to you by your parents might not be optimal, right? So the thing is that no love is ever lost, even in a breakup or in a betrayal, right? Love is a constant, but the where you put it and how you relate to it is very different with different people at different times, right? And even in a very well-functioning relationship, as you well know, right, you have moments where you're deeply in love, and then you have moments where you hate your partner's guts like nobody's business, right? And that is true in all ways. So the heart isn't the issue. The issue is programming, bad distinctions, bad imprints, attachment, the way you were, attachment styles and things like that. So if you're always opening yourself to the wrong people, it's not the heart you need to blame. You have to just look at how these things happen. And as just a word, as somebody who has done as many client hours as I have, these things can really be addressed. You can actually make huge differences and huge changes in the way you do relationship and the people you pick, and also the people you are attracted to in a very short period of time. It's by no means a lost cause, because love is the constant under all of it.
I love that. Keep that perspective, right? Catherine Ireland is saying her heart chakra is only open to dogs, it seems. Well, dog energy is definitely big love energy. So in closing, Michaela, it's so juicy. This is a lifelong conversation, that of love and relationships. Mary's saying everything you're saying it's resonating strongly with you. So in closing, is there a mantra or a term or something that our viewers can use to sort of remind themselves to wake up the heart, to open that expressive nature, to sort of instigate the heart opening, or the heart awareness? Is there one that you know of?
Well, one of the classic heart openers in the traditions is, of course, the humming, right? The low hum, which is a very beautiful way to connect with the heart. But I personally always, and I teach that in workshops, and particularly couples workshops, I always go with love, loving love. So I am love, loving love across from me, right? And so that's something that for me is always kind of oh yeah, love is moving me, love is moving the other person, and together we can love. However you want to say that, that's a good reminder that really everybody is driven by that.
I love that. I love, loving love. Well, Michaela, thank you so much. And to all of you who joined us today from all over the United States and even in Paris, we had one of your followers, Sarah, I think. Yeah. So I want to thank you, Michaela, for the work that you have dedicated your life to do in helping people love more and be more connected. I mean, you're truly doing the divine's work, and it's you're such a comforting energy, and you're such a safe place to learn. And so thank you. And so for those of you who are not sure where to find Michaela, you can find her at michaelaboehm.com, and we have her website all over our website. You guys can ask Thomas. I saw a bunch of you asking Thomas. You guys can easily find her through us, and we're very grateful for Michaela's work and her ongoing Friendship to Magic Hour. And so with that, I want to send you all off, and we will close the circle. May your night and your dreams bring you great comfort. May you wake up tomorrow knowing you are love, loving love. May you feel enriched. May you feel empowered. May you feel whole. May you feel joy, and may you feel health and wellness. And I will see you all soon. We've got the cleanse starting next week, and Michaela's box is available right now. It's the Happy Heart Box, and you embody it, my dear. I will talk to you soon.
Thank you, and thank you to everyone wherever you are in the world.
Absolutely. All right. Love you all. Thank you all for joining us. Bye, darling.
Bye.
Bye.